Okay, now we can continue, start the extempore topic, which is infant mortality rate.
Okay, so infant mortality rate determines the number of deaths infants per thousand live births. Infant mortality rate for our country is significantly higher as recommended in comparison to what is recommended by World Health Organization. Um, uh, this could be pointed out to several reasons. Very first being that whenever a lady is conceives and is pregnant, he or she, she is required to go for antenatal checkups minimum 4 times. How and this process can be very usefully utilized to look into any abnormalities that might arise that may help us mitigate this factor in the future. However, if it's not followed, this might lead to increased infant mortality rate. The other reason would be decreased cases of institutional deliveries. However, we are seeing that as a country, our system is increased, has seen an increase in terms of institutional delivery. Still, there are rural areas and local areas where proper infrastructure is not available to provide proper institutional deliveries and proper doctors who can look into complications that might arise during the delivery and thus prevent this mishappening. And the other would be looking into the nutritional care of the mother and even the infant. Looking into the care, nutrition care of the mother in terms of sure, making sure that she's not anemic, and if she's anemic, she's being provided with adequate iron, folic acid tablets, and also that her nutritional intake is enough. And in terms of children, it becomes important that the mother is educated about complement strict 6 months breastfeeding, which in turn provides a lot of nutrition to the kids, thus reducing the chances of infant mortality rate. And this can be done via several modes. The very first would be generating awareness, and as our government is doing via the MA program, and also that various information, education, and communication programs can also be enrolled in the rural areas there, so that proper awareness can be generated on this topic.
Okay,
That
okay.
we
So
can.
stop. That's done. So let's continue with the similar same topic. So do you also find any regional aspect which is associated with the infant mortality rate? Like India is a too big country, and we have divided in lot many states and geographical region and landscape. So do you also find any regional aspect which can be counted or contributed to, which contributes in infant mortality rate?
Okay, so as I mentioned in my exemplary, that it becomes important that proper infrastructure is provided, especially in rural areas with the strong.
Okay, tell me what is the national infant mortality rate for India,
Uh, I might not be able to recall it.
and from which state do you come from?
I'm from Haryana.
Haryana. So Haryana's infant mortality rate is higher than national infant mortality rate or lower than that?
No, it's lower than the
So
national.
which state has the worst infant mortality rate?
Jharkhand has the worst infant mortality rate.
So if you can compare Jharkhand with Haryana, so what are the differences? Why Jharkhand has higher infant mortality rate?
Um, Very first would be lack of proper infrastructure, then lack in terms of employees, in terms of ASHA, AMNs, and also looking into that they're not paid properly, so they won't show up to the work, thus they won't be able to perform their duties in a better manner. And also often, even if there is infrastructure, the referral system or the referral support system is sometimes hindered. And referring to Jharkhand, considering that it entails a lot of tribal area, so it becomes difficult for the health facilities to penetrate into those areas, thus they are not able to perform up to their potential. As for Haryana, there is a prevalence of several healthcare centers throughout the state, distributed um, uh, in a manner that they are able to elicit they are able to provide proper care that is needed for deliveries and pregnancy, during pregnancy and after pregnancy.
Okay. So Simran, you are microbiology graduate.
Yes,
So
sir.
what are the major learning, if you can count what you know from your subject?
Mhm.
What are the major learning that is from your subject is? You don't have to relate it with the course that you're applying.
Okay.
So
Okay.
in general, tell me what have you learned there in the
So,
course?
the very important aspect that I realized is that via microbiology, I realized that microorganisms are everywhere, and we have to instill basic hygiene practices in our daily life in order to ensure that we are not exposed to them, because they are not going to go away. We only have to come up with the techniques and measures to combat those. So, especially in terms of communicable diseases, simple procedures can be followed in which we can avoid spread of the diseases, like performing hygiene practices, washing your hands, proper disposal of feces. That is quite prevalent in rural areas. We see that it's not in a very proper manner, which also results in increased cases of diarrhea and especially cholera. So these can be prevented via following basic microbiological practices, SOPs, like washing hands and other things. And the other would be increased antibiotic resistance, as being seen in the case of tuberculosis. We are seeing that earlier we had just tuberculosis, which could be treated by a regime of 6 months. However, the microorganisms are very smart organisms, and they have the property to mutate and become resistant to any antibiotic you give them. So it becomes very difficult as a microbiologist, and even for the microbiologist working, to formulate new antibiotics every time. So it becomes very important that we look into the antibiotic
Okay, so can
prescription
you
cycle of.
differentiate? Okay, so can you differentiate virus and bacteria? मतलब, what are the major difference? What are the difference between virus and bacteria?
Very first would be bacteria can survive on non-living objects, and a virus as an organism needs the support of an animate object. And the second would be, it is very easy to cultivate bacteria on medium. We do that all the time in our labs. And it's not that easy, since viruses are do need animate media. It becomes very important. We either have to cultivate it in an organism, which like a rat or mouse, which certainly brings some ethical issues. Although we have come up with the other alternatives like tissue culturing and using Raoult's medium, which can be effectively used to cultivate virus outside a living system. So these, and also that the bacteria, not all bacteria are harmful. Even our body harbors tons of bacteria, but it doesn't mean that all of them are harmful to us. Most of them are useful to us. As for viruses, a very few are available, or I might not be aware of those who can provide us with the positive outcomes. So, yeah.
Okay, so talking about viral diseases
Yes.
and bacteria-based disease.
Mhm.
So what is the difference between these two kind of disease?
Okay. So,
If I'll ask you to differentiate or in whatever way, like
in terms of symptoms,
anything that you know.
um, Okay. So, possible as per bacteria, um, as for bacteria, the thing is, if even if we are continuously breathing bacteria, and even if they enter our body somewhat is strong enough to fight those responses, to fight those bacteria. So we do not fall we do not fall ill that easily. But in case of viruses, as we have seen in terms of adenoviruses or common cold, it becomes somewhat difficult for our immune system to primarily fight that organism. Thus, we end up falling sick. And also that viruses are also associated with causing cancers in terms of plants, animals, and even human beings. And no such bacteria is there that can cause cancer in living organisms.
So what do we mean by mutation of virus? That we are seeing these days that the corona or COVID-19 virus is being mutated every now and then. And, and what do you mean by mutation of virus?
Mutation is just a genetic anomaly where one nucleotide base pair is shifted to another nucleotide base pair, and they end up coding for a different protein. So, and this is a very common process. This happens in our body as well, and this happens when two cells multiply. There occurs a transfer of genetic material, and via that process of genetic transfer, there can be possibility that some of the nucleotide bases change position, or they may even leave that position and a new nucleotide may enter that position, thus producing not so harmful but sometimes quite harmful mutations in the organism.
So, let's come to the recent situation of COVID-19
Yes.
that we are suffering. So we have seen that at different waves we have been seeing the problem in a different way. The first wave it was more about we were not knowing the virus and the treatment, and the second wave the lack of oxygen and other facilities caused lot many deaths. So can you compare the rule of? Can you tell me maybe where we went, uh, where we could not plan, and what decision that we could not take right on time, uh, so that we had to suffer this much of loss at second wave?
Okay. So the very first part would be in the first wave, we we did not see any significant mutations as the virus was primarily new. The spreadability rate was not as severe as it was in the second wave. Hence, the severity was also somewhat toned down. But the scientists had predicted that certain mutations, and was seen via UK variant and Brazil variant and South African variant that were coming around December, that the virus has mutated and it may possess and it has it has been registered that this is more transmissible and more severe. And also considering that India had its borders open to international crowd, it was but obvious that those variants were about to enter the country. And also that in the first wave, the the exposure to the virus was not so prevalent because the lockdown was imposed. Majority of the people were saved from getting the virus, but they were not immune to the virus since there was no vaccination provided. They were still susceptible to the virus. So even the scientists urged the government that there can be a second wave. And it started around Feb that there were reports around the news that there is substantial increase in certain parts of the states in terms of coronavirus cases, and also that the virus that is being spread is not the virus that came in the first wave, the government should have ramped up its infrastructure in terms of beds, in terms of oxygen building capacities. So we could have managed the situation in a much better way. But the government was not seen working in this direction. On the other hand, what we saw was a possible super spreader such as Kumbh Mela was given, and Kumbh Mela and even elections were given permission. So this all resulted in excessive spread of the virus throughout the country and created what it did.
Okay, why do you want to go for hospital administration course?
Okay.
You, no, basically my question is like, this is your first choice, hospital administration.
No, it's my third choice.
It's your third choice,
Yes,
and the first choice of yours is
HR. But I
HR,
did
and
not clear it.
okay, and then the second choice was
Hospital administration, public health and hospital
okay.
administration.
So why did you keep
Oh, sorry, healthcare administration.
healthcare
Sorry.
administration as your second choice and hospital administration as your third choice?
Okay. So the main reason was that public health administration um, entails detailed information and detailed knowledge about national health programs, and also that as a healthcare administrator in terms of public health, I'd be getting chances across various working closely with the primary level and secondary level care of the healthcare system. But in hospital administration, though the duties and roles and responsibilities are on the similar ground, it is somewhat constituted to an organization, specifically hospitals, though there are opportunities in allied fields like consultancy and insurance.
So if I'll ask you, there are lot of opportunities in microbiology based research field. So why don't you go for that? I mean, you are coming for a course which is basically we're not being the core part of the operations or core part of the healthcare services, like as a doctor or any.
As you said that as a microbiologist, my scope in terms of professional and personal growth may be limited to just academic, where I would have to pursue academics primarily in terms of future prospects. However, I wanted to do something a bit more than that. I wanted to work on my personal skills, developing my personal skills, and also that I've always wanted to work in healthcare. I got into microbiology because I knew that somewhere down the other it is somewhat related to healthcare. And from the very beginning of my graduation, I knew that I wanted to go into the healthcare sector. So, pursuing MSc microbiology is not my priority right now. Uh, so, yeah.
Okay, so the profile of hospital administrator,
Yes.
is it very close to the knowledge or the skills that is required? Is it very close to management side or health related knowledge?
I'd say it's in between. Because there are certain times when where a hospital administrator is supposed to perform duties in terms of health front, where managing the clinical and the supportive services. Whereas on the other hand, there are instances where certain managerial aspects of material management, hospital waste management, and even inventory management is are taught under the come under the umbrella of management um, teachings. And also that hospital administration also involves somewhat marketing and business development, so that is also a prospect that comes under the management umbrella.
So what do you think? What is the most challenging part uh, in being an hospital administrator?
Okay. So, as hospitals are complex organizations, as a hospital administrator, it becomes important he for the hospital administrator to um, carry out the harmony between in between all the departments in terms of swift management of resources allocation and um, information transfer. So, as a hospital administrator, um, um, so as a hospital administrator needs to realize the importance of appropriate resource allocation, and also a very important aspect would be human resource management, which tends to be a somewhat ignored aspect, as we have seen that hospitals usually are referred to as being um, run by doctors and nurses, which is not the case because hospital, as I said, is a complex organization, and many key players play important roles and responsibilities to ensure that doctors and nurses are also able to perform their duties in a much better way. So, as an administrator, the administrator needs to realize the importance of staff and realize the importance of staff motivation and thus increase their productivity. Also, that we have seen that during the COVID situation, there has been pressure on hospitals, especially in terms of since they do not have enough funds, but still they have to provide sufficient healthcare facilities to the patient. So it becomes very important that the healthcare administrator is skilled enough to prioritize the resources in order to provide the best patient care that's possible.
Okay, chalo, thank you very much. तो as per extempore वाला part जो है,
Mhm.
I have given you around 75, but it can be little more than that. ठीक है, out of 100
मुझे याद
presentations.
नहीं आ रहा था, पता मैंने अभी वो किया था सर, वो अंडर 5 मोर्टालिटी रेट वाला किया था मैंने, मुझे याद ही नहीं आ रहा था नंबर।
कोई बात नहीं है।
मैंने कहा
तो
मैं कर ही देती हूँ, लिख देती हूँ कुछ ना कुछ।
ठीक है, थोड़ा सा और अच्छा हो सकता था वो भी, बट ऐसे ठीक था, मतलब योर अप्रोच वाज वेरी गुड। इंटरव्यू में यू आर क्वाइट कंपोज्ड, सही से बोल रहे हो, एंड सी मतलब यू डोंट हैव टू बी अ कम्युनिकेटर टू बी अ हॉस्पिटल एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर। तो ऐसा नहीं है कि तुम्हें बहुत ऐसा कम्युनिकेट करना है कि लगे कि बहुत फ्लुएंसी आनी चाहिए, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। यू नीड टू बी अ कन्वेयर, मतलब एक अपनी बात को कन्वे कर पाओ, अपनी बात को रख पाओ, अपनी बात से इन्फ्लुएंस कर पाओ, सो दैट यू आर टॉकिंग इन अ वेरी मतलब कंपोज वे, बट थोड़ा कॉन्फिडेंट रहो, ठीक है। अदरवाइज बाकी सारी चीजें जो मैंने लिखी हैं, एज पर माय क्वेश्चन इट इज हाउ मच मार्क्स यू आर गेटिंग? 77, 78, almost 81 here. So it's a very good marks, but I'll not say to be very happy about it. Probably जो मेरे questions थे उस हिसाब से तो मैं अच्छे marks आ गए, but all of a sudden वहाँ के questions कुछ different भी हो सकते हैं, ठीक है। So keep on learning the things around you and things which surrounds the subjects, and not only hospital administration but also yours, है ना? तो ये करते हुए रहो, है ना, whenever your interview is। बाकी best of luck।
Yes, sir. Thank you.